Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Santa's Workshop. Well, we finally got the sleep schedule turned around, and I want you to look at this. Good morning. It is about 6:30 in the morning. Got out here a little later than I wanted to. Once that sun comes up, it starts heating up quick. Next 3 days are supposed to be in the triple digits. But what we're going to try and get done this morning, you can hear the air compressor going in the background. I want to get this thing cleaned up, get the pan off of it. We're going to get the seals knocked out, replaced, and I'm going to put a little bit of coat of paint on this thing to go in El Caballero. And the thing about it is I got to get this thing done here pretty quick, because as soon as we get that motor, we get the push rods measured and get those in, that motor will be together within a day. So I want to get this thing ready so when we get that motor together, we can bolt it onto it and drop it in El Caballero's frame. And speaking of which, I want to sneak by the air compressor. There's no sneaking by that thing. Haven't touched the frame in a while. It's just been too hot over here on this side of the building. I mean, that's the east wall right there. As you can see, there is no insulation. And honestly, everybody tells me I need to get this sprayed and get air conditioning in here. I would be down for months trying to get everything away from these walls to get this thing sprayed to get air conditioning in here. And once air conditioning's in here, you got to pay for it. And I guarantee you, I don't make that enough a month on YouTube. Matter of fact, I don't make enough on YouTube to pay but one bill. But anyways, we're going to get this thing finished up. I got some new rotors. I figured everything else on... silence. Everything else on this thing is new. I might as well go ahead and get new rotors. I'm going to get new bearings from O'Reilly's, new seals, get those on, get all this thing buttoned up, get my rear end done, which it is... I've got it stripped, and I'm sure you've seen that video. There's Mike's Volvo. Don't look, Mike. Don't look. But I got the rear end stripped, ready to put back together. I just got to, I've never done one before, and I'm thinking about watching the videos and learning how to do it and doing it myself. So that might be a learning experience for both of us. Or for all of us, both of us, all of us. Okay. But Mr. J's pickup, as soon as the Volvo leaves, I'm going to roll it outside so I can get it washed. I want to get the back fenders put on the bed. We're going to do a wash job on this thing, get it as clean as possible, and then the body work commences. Once I get the body work done, we're going to get it painted, and then we're going to start reassembling everything, get the motor going. It's been a work in progress for a while. I've just really been waiting for this heat to go so I can get out here and get ramped up and going. But I want to put this over in this stall, kind of leave this center, or the center stall empty. We're going to clean out a spot over in here. We're probably going to roll this table out and over this way, and we're going to start putting Brian's tea bucket together right here. And the reason why we're going to go in this area, it's smaller. We can, and that tea bucket is not very big, but I want to get a rolling chassis done on it before I start Santa. But Mr. J's pickup's going to be right here. That way we can roll it out and blow up our paint booth. And I'm going to try and keep these between this rafter and this rafter forward empty, or where we can get it empty easily, because that paint booth, that's 20 foot right there, and that paint booth is 20 foot wide, 13 foot tall, which that right there is about 14 foot. Our walls are 14, so that should go right underneath it, and 30 feet long. Well, this shop is 40 foot wide, so I've got 10 feet to mess with right here. So this line of stuff right here, we can push back, move it out of the way, but we can have it indoor, inflatable paint booth. Very, very easy. I am so excited. But let's get out here and get on this transmission so we can get it done, and before the sun hits right here. Because once the sun hits right here, I'm going inside and no more spraying is going to be done. But gosh, look at that sunrise. Gotta love it. Let's get to busy. Ooh-wee, don't that look prettier? It almost looks like a brand new one. As I was cleaning it up, I did notice somebody has painted this thing before. Didn't clean it very well when they did it, but that just means that it has probably been rebuilt. Either that or it's a used one. But this was running fine when it was in the Monte Carlo SS. These things stock are supposed to handle up to 550 horsepower, which that should be just fine for mine. I never can wait till the paint's dry to start peeling stuff off. There, that looks good. All right, I want to let this dry. I'm going to take that pan off and let it drain. So when I turn it upside down, it's not going to get anything else up in it. I bet you I got water in it from washing and probably some gasoline. But that should all be down in the pan. And then I've got all new gaskets and everything for it. So let's get this pan off and get it draining. Okay, got the pan off, took it out and cleaned it up, but you look at the clutches there, they look clean. Everything down inside there looks nice. I don't see no overheating on any of the bands. The fluid, I mean, there's no black to it. There's a lot of black sediment in the pan, but I remember when we drained this thing, when we took it out of the Monte Carlo, the fluid looked really good. So I really think that this is going to be a good little transmission. So I want to get my paint finished inside of the bell housing, and we're just going to let this sit here and kind of drain down, and we'll get the seals and everything put in it, and we'll have it ready to put on the car. Okay, enough of those time lapses. Oh. Now we're going to try and get this seal here out and pop a new one in. Well, that was rather easy. Wow, that looks clean up in there. I like it. All the fluid that I have seen come out of this thing has been just as pretty and pink. From what reading I have done, a 700 R4 torque converter will work on these. Now, before I go putting it in and putting it in the car, I'm going to verify what I've been reading. But I've got a brand new I've got a brand new 2300 stall torque converter that I bought for the 700 R4. If it'll fit, awesome. If it won't, we'll figure something out. But yeah, this thing, I don't think it's been too long since this thing has been rebuilt. Either that or that car just really did not have that many miles on it. Look how pink that is in there. And there's just not that much. I mean, you're going to get black on the transmission. I don't care what you do. But that works really nice. Okay, let's get this new seal. And I know y'all are going to be screaming bloody murder the way I do this, but it has always worked for me. Never had any issues so far. I got to get that so far in there because, you know, The first one I'm going to have issues with will be the one that I don't say that. Okay, come on. Just gotta get it started. Always comes on when you don't want it to. Well, that sure feels like that is on there. At least that's what I want to say. All right, now then. Never have put one of these wear sleeves in. So we're going to get over right here, see what we can do about that. All right, I want to readjust the fan. It is about 8 o'clock in the morning here. That's what I felt fall. Kind of need that. And it's hot. We're supposed to be hitting like 102 today. So I want to get these seals knocked in, get my pan back on, and we're going to call this video done because I got a late start this morning. I wasn't out here while it was still dark. Go. Drippy, drippy, drippy. Okay, grab my flashlight. See what we're going to have to do up in here. That really is not worn at all. Well, I think I'm just going to go with the outer seal, and I want to put that back, and if I start having any problems I can just put it up on the lift, get in there and change it out, because there's no play in that shaft whatsoever. And honestly, goodness, I don't really see much reason to try getting that out and putting it back in. So, we're going to put this on the shelf and we're going to mark what it is. Put it up in my storage. And another one seated in. That one went on real nice. Now then, I got the seal out. When this is interesting. I have to read up on that. This is the seal for the where the shifter comes out. It showed no signs of leaking, but I wanted to get it just in case. Before I do anything. Lay this out, make sure I got the right one, and I do. Sweet. New filters there. Go out here and get my bolts. Okay, what I have got here in this dusty little black box braided transmission lines. I've got two different styles, sets of fittings. One will go in the radiator, the other one will go in here. Yeah, I'm debating that's going to turn it right into that, isn't it? I think these are going to go up on the radiator. While these go here. Yeah, that looks a lot different. I wonder if these go where the hose went, or if these go into there. It'd look a lot better if they went into there. Let's pull one of these out and find out. Oh. Well, that was a guess. Okay, that is just a typical yeah, I think I'll remove those. I'm gonna put us a little bit of nylon tape on that. We're just gonna seal that right up in there. Some kind of sealant on that. And of course, I'm out of my black sealant. Either that or my tube's running around here somewhere. Yeah, when I go to O'Reilly's to get my transmission mount, I'll get me some more sealant. We'll get those done. But Dirt Dauber has already been in here building on this thing. Good lands on mercy. All right. Well, that's about as far as I can go with this in this video. But I am going to be checking on that. I thought I got all that off. I want to be checking on to the torque converter before I put it in. If not, I'm just going to go ahead and use the stock one. And this thing is I think, ready to go in. Whew. That was a little excitement. I'm not exactly sure what that was that flew into the shop, but it was about 1.5 inches long, about that big around. It did not look happy, but I was glad to motivate it on its way. Berryman's really good for reaching out and touching something that's flying. Whew. But anyways, we got him out, got the door shut. Hopefully that won't be back. But anyways, thank y'all for joining me on this video. I know it wasn't a whole lot. Getting about 2 to 4 hours of work in a day. Getting up at 3 in the morning. Finally got my sleep schedule turned around. We got this done, so as soon as we get the motor ready to set in, we can mate this to it and get it in the frame. But before we get the motor in the frame, I am going to finish getting, I got new rotors. Thank you, Jason S. Tell you what, fella, you are something else. I cannot wait to meet you in person. But I'm going to invite him up when it comes time to start the engine. That's going to be a couple of months away, because once I get the engine and everything in the frame, I'm going to get the body mated back to the frame. I'm going to get the exhaust built. We got to get the fuel lines run. I want to get the core support painted up and mounted. I'm going to be very meticulous about what all I do. Okay, that was a dirt dauber. I'm kind of paranoid after that thing come in here. But I want to be very meticulous about what I do, how it goes together. Next video on El Caballero is probably going to be the rear axle. And I'm going to put that thing together and everything myself. I've almost got it completely cleaned. There's just a few little more things I want to clean up on it before I can get it painted. I want to get it painted, then we're going to put it together. Never have done a rear differential. I've watched many videos about it, read books. It's not too complicated. I think I can do it, no problems. We'll see. But this car, I want it to be something that I've had my hands on in every aspect of the vehicle. So from ground up, whether it be bodywork, electrical, mechanical, interior, I've done it. I've done it all. This is, everybody has called me an artist all my life. Well, this is my canvas. This is what I've always wanted to do, was build a car from the ground up. Yes, an El Camino, it's a love-hate relationship for them. A lot of people love them, a lot of people hate them. This was thrown in my lap by Randy. Thank you, Randy, because if it wasn't for you, I couldn't have done none of this. This car is going to be magnificent when it is done. I've got an idea for the pinstripe on it, which is going to be completely different. I'm hoping it works. I'm going to try it out on some things before I do. Yes, I'll film my learning curve, but that's going to come after the car is done. But my timeline on it, I want to give you a timeline of what I'm going to do in the shop. As soon as Mike comes and gets the Volvo, I'm going to roll Jim's pickup outside. It needs washed. I've got to get it washed really well before I can start body work on it. I want to get the body work going. We're going to get the motor together. We're going to get it running. Once I get the body work done, we can decide if we're going to go ahead and paint or if we're going to get it going in primer. I got to talk to Jim and find out. But that's coming very soon. This heat has been keeping me from being out here 8 hours a day getting a lot accomplished. It's going to be 105 here today, And that's not the heat range. That is the actual temp. And they were promising us highs in the 70s in Oklahoma. I think my meteorologist lied to us, because the coolest I see is 91. 80 degrees to me is getting too much. But anyways, back to timeline. All we're waiting on to get the motor finished is getting the measurements for the push rods. Once the measurements for the push rods are done, we'll get those ordered, get those in. We can get both heads on, get the rockers on, get them adjusted, get the intake on. Once the intake is on, heads are on, there's really not a whole lot left to do but put it in a car. So once that's done, I hope to have the frame as a roller. We can drop the motor and tranny in, and then I can start getting things ready to set that body back down on. One of the things I got to do is get the air conditioning box cleaned up, painted, sealed, and put back into the firewall. Because once that is in on the frame with the motor in, you ain't going to do it. It's not going to come out right. So I want to get that done, get as much on the firewall as I can before we set the body down. I mean, once it starts happening, it's going to happen fast. And I'm hoping, praying that by November, we've got a running vehicle. That would be phenomenal. Because if I can get that thing down together and running by November, through the winter months, I can have the body work done, because there's not a lot of body work to do on this car. There really isn't. There's going to be more in the interior than there is on the outside. Once that body work's done, come spring, I'm painting. Once it's painted, reassembly, done. If this timeline holds out. Everybody say a prayer for me that this timeline holds out. So, I'm hoping that I can have Jim's pickup ready for paint at about the same time as the Caballero. That way, when I set up the paint booth, thank you, Jason S., we can just run one in, paint it, roll it out, roll the next one in, paint it. That way, it's just a boom, boom. Brian's T-bucket. We are going to be starting on the frame as soon as this thing leaves and the weather cools. Brian is getting to the point of where I am. He can't handle the heat. And just a side note, send me a comment. Is this heat different to everybody? It seems like, you know, when I was young, 100 degrees, oh well, you know, let's go out to the lake and have fun. Not anymore. I do not know what's happening, but it is something else. But anyways, off of that. I realized I never did the Speed Lab giveaway. It's got a hat, a shirt, and a sticker. And I got to looking at the names. I had only 11 comments. Only a few made a comment saying they wanted it. But I drew out of the hat Tim Leister. You know who you are, fella. Tim has been a long-time friend of mine, but your name got drawn out of the hat. Let's meet up, and I'll give you that gift pack. But guys, thank y'all so much. When it gets cooler, I promise there's going to be a whole lot more. There's going to be a lot more getting done. I had to work on mics during the night. 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Matter of fact, when I painted it, I worked from 11 o'clock that night, and I walked out of here at 4:30 in the morning. Now I'm getting up at 3 in the morning because the early morning hours are a whole lot cooler and a little bit less humid. But, guys, I know my beard's flying in the fan. It's going to get a lot better. Things are going to get done. El Camino, or El Caballero. I am so excited. I'm excited to get this thing sitting on the ground. I'm going to get the wheels sandblasted so I can get those primered and painted. And it's going to come together, and it's going to come together fast once we get going. But thank y'all. If you haven't hit that like and subscribe, please do, and please share, because that's the whole point of being able to get more subscribers, get more views, is for y'all to share it for me. But please, let's get it out there. We'll see you next time on Santa's Workshop.